Hello, everybody. We've got a show that promises to be at least mildly interesting for your listening and watching enjoyment. For the monologue, our travel log series returns as I recap my recent trip to southeastern Pennsylvania doing God knows what. In the interview, it's Megan Hargroder of Legends Legal Marketing on the rebound tip. So be a legend yourself. In the counter program, we're doing our own version of Wired's autocomplete interviews, except we're using generative AI instead. Now, let's talk about my latest excursion to parts somewhat unknown. Let's do another selection in our travel log series, Travels with Jared in Search of America. Shall we, friends? This is chapter 33, Travels with Jared in Search of America, in search of the tipping point for capitalism. This past weekend, I was in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which is an interesting place, to say the least. It has one of the more uncommon names of any city or town in the United States, a country that features lots of odd place names, like Hohokum, New Jersey, just off the dome. King of Prussia, the locals call it the KOP, is named after a pub, which was named after Frederick the Great, who was literally the King of Prussia in the mid-1700s. Americans liked him because he was opposed to British imperialism, which America obviously was pretty opposed to as well. But any city or town named after a bar, I am good with. And it's much better than the prior name, which was Reeseville, which was named after Reese from Malcolm in the Middle, probably. KOP, the place, not the man, is still around, of course. But what was once Prussia is now mostly Poland, as well as parts of Lithuania, Russia, and Germany. King of Prussia, the city, represents an interesting timeline for American history, which is now hurtling towards its 250th year, which promises to be the most downbeat 4th of July celebration ever. Things are not going well. On the one hand, there's Valley Forge in King of Prussia area. This is a foggy location that's effectively now an unincorporated village and informally has parts of the surrounding communities like King of Prussia in it, which was once George Washington's winter encampment during the Revolutionary War in 1777 to 1778. Try not to get too excited. On the other hand, the King of Prussia Mall, which is located in the same area, is the third largest one in the United States, behind the Mall of America in Minnesota. That's number one, of course. You definitely need massive indoor spaces in Minnesota. And the American Dream at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, which we drove by on the way down. New Jersey, relatives of mine report that there's some crazy shit there, like surfing indoors. I think it says probably a lot about the rampant consumerism of the United States that we're even ranking malls, but compare that with the austerity of Valley Forge, where a national park sits commemorating how Washington's soldiers starved and died in service to the Continental Army. Quite the divergence. Now, at Valley Forge, they sell novelty socks at the gift shop, which feature an image of George Washington in sunglasses that says underneath it, "Too cool for British rule." Yeah, I bought a pair. I'm only human. Don't judge me. Now, I'd never been to Valley Forge before, so I was really interested in seeing it. I'm a history nerd, so I thought it was pretty cool. It's much larger than I thought. You can't walk the whole thing, in part because it's many miles to do so. Well, 10 miles, which is still a lot. So I guess it's physically possible to walk it. But you probably don't want to walk it because parts of the walking would be via a heavily trafficked highway with no sidewalks. So you're taking your life into your hands. But if you do make the whole drive, there's a lot to see, from revised versions of the soldiers' huts to artillery cannon to a memorial arch in vogue right now. Apparently, people fucking love arches, I guess, to segments of the original Valley Forge village, the last of which isn't technically on the tour, but it's easy enough to get to. The big highlight is probably George Washington's headquarters, which is a well-preserved home with a kitchen as an outbuilding, plus a stable and a barn. Really low ceilings in the late 1700s, as it turns out. There's also a train station in that area that was built in 1911, which has now become part of the series of exhibits. Randomly, the last stop on the tour of Valley Forge is the Washington Memorial Chapel, another late addition to the park, finished in 1921, and spearheaded by a local Episcopalian minister who was involved in preservation efforts for Valley Forge. Probably the best part of that particular exhibit is the National Patriots Bell Tower, which I had never heard of before, but which houses a smaller replica of the Liberty Bell called the Justice Bell that was used to support women's suffrage across the country, which passed, but which people are now seeking to roll back. Lots to unpack in here. And it's worth paying the $8.50 for the app so you can drive around and learn some shit. This is kind of my jam. As my mom will recall, I once recorded a 4-hour video tour of the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, which some still consider my magnum opus. Not my family. They are not included in that list. But then as we crested Valley Forge and returned to KOP proper, there was yet another gleaming symbol beyond the hill, which was Netflix House. Now, there are only 2 Netflix houses in America. The first was in Dallas, and the second is now at the King of Prussia Mall. Now, let me tell you, if you thought Valley Forge was old, get a load of me, because I could not have been more lost in this place, which I'll talk about a little bit with Megan. I had no idea what to do in this store, which is more like an entertainment complex. It looks like a movie theater on the first floor, but it's got escape rooms and all this VR shit. I was so lost, I had to ask the salesperson what to do. Unfortunately, he was in character playing some kind of person. I had no idea what the fuck this dude was talking about. So I just turned around and walked away. I moved on to the next staff person who informed me that the escape rooms were actually smart escape rooms that get harder the better you do inside of them. And that's pretty cool. And of course, everything is Netflix IP themed. There are statues of characters outside. There's a 9-hole mini golf course with each hole representing a different Netflix property. It's basically the same deal with the food court. You can also watch Netflix shows in various theaters. Though I think they missed out by not calling it House of Netflix, which sounds far more ominous. It was still a lot to take in all at once as an elder millennial. It's like Satan vomited up the physical embodiment of a streaming service. I bought a large stuffed Demogorgon and left. I can't wait until one of these comes to the North Shore of Massachusetts, to which I've now returned. The circle of life, my friends. And that's why you should never take the advice of someone who offers up their middle name unprompted. In any event, we've reached the middle part of the Legal Late Night podcast, which today will feature Megan Hargroder of Legends Legal Marketing. Guess who's back? Back again. It's her, it's Megan. And she thinks my marketing strategy is booty cheeks. More to come. Well, I've effectively run out of things to say, which is awkward because this is a podcast. So I will simply clip my toenails until I think of something. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to need the big clippers for this one. That's a joke, of course. I never clip my toenails. So let's get moving on to our guest interview. Our guest today, that's right, it's Megan Hargroder, the founder and CEO of Legends Legal Marketing. Welcome back to the show, Megan.
Thank you, Jared. I should have been, but wasn't ready for that intro. That was something.
My toenails are long. Like I tried to clip them this weekend. I just never got to it. And I'm like, you ever have that? It's kind of killing me now because I'm like, I just want to do it so badly. You're a legendary guest of the show. I know.
I feel like, on SNL, when they get their like 5-timers jacket on their 5th time hosting, I feel like at some point you should come up with something after, someone hit their 5 times on your show.
I think we should do 3 times. So let's have you back on for the holiday episode.
I think this is my 3rd.
We'll do it. Yeah. Oh, yes. This is the 2nd time on the new show. You're actually our first repeat guest on the new show, believe it or not.
Cool. Thanks.
Now, I think that like you just scheduled and used our link and then we didn't check. So I probably shouldn't say that out loud because now people are going to be like,
now everyone
free book.
Yeah. We book everyone. If you get on the show again.
Megan, tell me about a time in your life where you were hurt by AI.
Oh, so This was actually very recent. And I didn't think that this could happen to me, but I recently sent a very heartfelt text message to an old friend who I like really missed. And I was kind of in a whole mood, had a whole vibe going. And he definitely took my text, dumped it into ChatGPT, had it say something back, and copy pasted it to me without reading it or editing it. And I cried.
Were there obvious errors, or was it just like,
It was
oh,
very
God.
obvious. It started with like, what a conundrum, you know?
Wow.
Yes, I can see where, there's definitely language where you can tell something specifically came from ChatGPT. Gemini also kind of has its own little flavor of speaking too. So I can almost at this point tell which AI engine someone actually pulled something from.
Is that the most callous thing you can do to another human at this point? I feel like it is.
To me,
because he must have known that your text was not AI. Like that's obvious.
Right. There were feelings in there, like real feelings.
If this person's listening, fuck you. You also just hired your 20th employee, I think. Is that correct?
My 20th employee. Isn't that
That's
crazy?
crazy.
Humans.
Yes.
I'm responsible for so many humans now.
Yes. Well, your business is growing, as it should be.
Yeah.
Because you do a kick-ass job.
Thank
now,
you.
At employee 20, have you cracked the code?
I think so. I don't want to jinx it because I feel like every time you think you're really good at something, it means you've overlooked something really important.
Next thing you know, you're sending an AI-based text message back to a friend.
I will never. I vow right now to everyone in my life that I will never AI message you unless I have some intense choice words that I need to email you, and I need to soften that up a little bit before I send it, and then I will run that through Gemini or Claude first. But
I so badly want this person to be listening to the show and being like, this guy's an asshole.
I'll be sending him the link. I'm just going to send him the link afterwards so he will listen to the show. But yeah, the thing about hiring that I learned is that there's a lot of different ways to hire. And the really challenging things to hire for are areas where you don't have that specific expertise. So it's like, how do you vet for it? So one of the positions I'm hiring for right now is a paid search manager. I am not an expert in paid search. That's why I need to bring one on. How can I tell if they're good? Well, the last one I hired turns out wasn't that good, was just kind of generic good, right? But I want someone excellent. So what I am in the process of doing is what I call the 2026 paid search Hunger Games. I've got 3 people entering the ring: District 1, District 2, and District 3. They are all hourly employees. They've all been given a set of accounts. They know it's a competition. And the last one.
Wait. Just so I'm clear, like your current team you've harvested from.
No. These are brand new
people. These are candidates.
These are candidates. These are people whose resumes looked amazing.
This is literally the Hunger Games.
It is. Their case studies looked amazing, but you can fake those, right? So I'm giving them actual work and we're monitoring them really closely. And once they make any significant sort of mistake, we fire the cannon and they're done.
I love this. Did you watch the Mr. Beast games at all on Amazon?
No.
My daughter and I binged this over a weekend. It's like, it's kind of like this. It's great. I'm not really that into the Mr. Beast verse, but this show was excellent. It was like a combination of Survivor and Squid Game, though no one really died.
That sounds amazing.
So, will you eliminate 2 at once or 1 at a time to build the suspense?
I'll eliminate as soon as mistakes are made at this point. So,
do you have a framed photo of these people that turns gray? Their picture turns gray when they're eliminated.
I do take a screenshot of their Slack photo, but some of them, they're so new, they haven't uploaded Slack photos yet. So yeah, it's just kind of like just an outline of a face. But I have been announcing as they go down, just like at the, at nighttime at Hunger Games, whenever they flash the.
Oh, that's right. Fallen. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I've been doing that at the end of the week and flashing the fallen. And yeah, we're just going to keep going with this until I find the very best paid search manager there is. If 2 are really great, I will keep both.
Interesting. We'll have to come and get an update at some point. So it sounds like the 2 things you've unlocked recently are well, you probably unlocked this before, but hiring people for stuff that you are not an expert in who have expertise, and then finding those people via a Hunger Games style interview process.
Well, really filtering them, right? I'm finding them all on LinkedIn or Indeed, and then I'm filtering them by inviting them. First of all, it filters them just the invite that says, I'm going to give you 30 days to prove yourself on an hourly basis, and the winner will be given a contract. If you're not good, if you're really not confident in your skill set or you're faking something, you're not going to enter the games, right?
I think that's part of it too. Like there's a barrier here
Yeah.
that not everybody's going to try and jump. That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have some terrible news though.
Oh, no.
I think we have to talk about AI now.
Yeah, let's do it. We have to.
We talked about this when we were pre-gaming for the show, but like, I don't know, there's still so much interest in AI, and I feel like we have to cover it, even though I find AI to be somewhat obnoxious, which we'll get into in the next segment. We do.
Well, we can't avoid it. It's here and it's taking over our lives, and like we have to figure out how to control this as much as we can and maximize it as much as we can. So, I agree, but I already know what you're going to ask me first.
Do you want to just? I'll just go in the other room. You can.
Cool.
Keep
you
going.
Can float off. So the first question you're going to ask me is, how, as a law firm, can you rank in AI search when someone says, "I need a divorce lawyer in Baltimore, Maryland"? How do I get found in AI search? Was that your first question?
No.
Oh.
I was actually going to ask you, like, so I have found in my history of podcasting and consulting and being a general wizened middle-aged man that I always start at the lowest bar first.
Oh, okay.
What is AEO/GEO? Can we start there? What even is it?
I don't know that I've heard GEO.
What is it called? It's Generative Engine Optimization.
Optimization. Oh, yeah. Well,
Generative Engine Optimization versus Answer Engine Optimization. It's the same shit, everybody.
I mean, it's part myth right now, honestly, because with which that's kind of the question that I thought you were going to ask. So like with,
I like to keep you on your toes.
I know.
This is like my version of the Hunger Games, except no one gets eliminated.
Before I talk to you every time, just to make sure I'm on it. There's no sleeping on this podcast, and I know that. So, so with Google, with traditional Google search, there are sort of rules, and we know what those rules are. And Google releases these algorithm updates, and they're not giving you the exact science, but they're giving you enough to do the math. And with these LLMs, we are not necessarily being given that. We are all guessing at that, and we're comparing things, but they're not releasing these things that say this is the way that you rank. There's just things that we know are indicate high performance scores most of the time, because this shit's still on shuffle for the most part.
Yes.
So
yes.
You can be found sometimes and then not at all. We've experienced it with our own company. There was this 1 week where I had a bunch of calls booked on my calendar, and everyone said they found me through ChatGPT. And it was just this one random week, and there was nothing different that I had done that week. There was no magic bullet. It was luck of the shuffle that week. That said, there are a few things that I've noticed that are key indicators that someone will regularly perform well for their target search terms. And that is, no one's going to like this answer because it's not a silver bullet, but it's trust-based marketing. So it's having an actual brand. So these LLMs are paying.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
Is that something you have to do?
Yes.
Fuck.
And as a lawyer, you should be a brand, right? There should be a persona associated with you and your law firm. And all of those things are factored in whenever people are looking for lawyers in these LLM searches, because they're not just looking at keywords and keyword structure. They're reading things backwards and forwards and upside down. And they're looking at who you are as a person. And they're thinking, should I recommend this person? To a certain extent, I truly believe these LLMs are saying, is this a good person and is this a good lawyer?
Huh. It's funny because it's almost like going back to the earliest days of networking, except now it's an AI making the recommendation.
You have to kind of think of it, as a person to a certain extent. And like we talked about, there's things that I think that are working that I'm not going to necessarily give away, but what I will give
don't
away,
do that.
I will give away a few
People
things.
have to hire you for that shit.
Yeah, people have to hire me. It's a lot of work. But one of the things is a good trust-based biography. So having the lawyer have a biography page that tells a story, because these LLMs love a good story. Like, think about it like they're people. They love a good story. They love to see something relevant that says authority, trust, empathy, all of these different factors are crucial. And then the other part of that is going to be your reviews. They're reading all of your reviews as well. So it's not really enough to just have a blank 5-star review or Jared was great, highly recommend. It has to be I hired Jared to solve this high level problem with my intake system, and he came in
miserably
and
1 star.
He fired half of my team for me, and so it has to be something specific, and you almost want your keywords worked into your client reviews at this point.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense though, because AI is effectively a context engine. So I feel like the more context you can provide it, the better. All right, you got a little bit ahead of where I wanted to go with this. I wanted to ask a number of pointed questions. Now we can vibe. You can explore the studio space. So how is this overblown? Like, how many searches are actually like coming in through an AI, and are these actually the majority of the leads that law firms are getting now? Because I think this is confusing somewhat too. Sorry. The other thing I see with people is like, they're like, oh, I was on Google and Google is different now. And they don't even know they're using like the AI mode of Google, which is basically stealth Gemini. So I don't know how trackable all this stuff is.
Google mode is BART. So what you're seeing at the top is actually a generative form of Google search results, but it's not the same as Gemini.
Good to know.
So there are 2 different algorithms. So
I just assumed it was.
Yeah, you can get different answers between like Gemini and the BART system. Where
wow.
But
wait, is it BART? BART?
Is it BART or BART?
Like the old, I don't know. I'm gonna Google while you talk.
Yeah, figure that out. We should have the correct information for this podcast these listeners. So it's a bit different. Gemini itself is its own engine. So going back to the first question though, it's not yet it's not more. We're not seeing more coming in. But it's increasing dramatically constantly. So like by the end of this year, it could be more than a traditional Google search. You could be seeing more coming in from the accumulation of all of these tools, right? So the top players are going to be ChatGPT, Gemini. I think Claude's probably third. Claude's my number 1. I use Claude for everything.
I love Claude.
I think it's so much smarter than the others.
Yes, it's great. I agree. I totally agree with that. Okay, so I don't know. I can't find the name of it, but it is. I can confirm that it is a different architecture of search.
Yeah.
So are you testing? Like, I don't want to get too deep on what you do with clients because I don't want you to give away the secret sauce. But if it's me, like, I'm probably testing like various versions of, if I'm a law firm, of how these searches interact. Like, what do I get on Google AI mode versus Google Gemini? What do I get on Google Gemini versus Anthropic? Are people doing that, do you think?
Yeah, we're looking at it, but it's shuffled. And there's not a clear understanding yet of when the shuffle resets. Like I said, I had gotten all these leads 1 week. So for exactly 1 week, ChatGPT was like really into me and it was amazing. And I was like, I should probably have a conversation and thank ChatGPT, right? Like you would thank a referral source. I was like, I wonder if thanking ChatGPT might help me to continue to rank better. You can also have the conversations with the actual engines. So I had a conversation with Gemini. So ChatGPT pulls from Bing, Gemini pulls from Google data. So I had a conversation with Gemini, who's like, I'm primarily concerned with the search coming from. And I was like, Gemini, how do I rank in a Gemini search against my competitors? And Gemini was like, oh, ha 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 ha. That's a funny question. Your competitors have thousands of backlinks compared to you. They have this, they do this, they are this. Basically, they're so big that these people aren't actually your competitors. It's kind of like if one of my clients was like, hey, I want to do what Morgan and Morgan's doing. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you have $3 million per month to burn in advertising? We can set that on fire for you, sure. But that's what Morgan and Morgan's doing.
It's funny that AI search right now is basically like an iPod where shit is just shuffling like crazy. I guess that's where we're at before AI becomes a singularity. So it sounds like even in this environment, SEO is still important. So you should continue to do traditional SEO.
And it's still playing a role. We just don't know how big of a role, but it is still playing a role in the LLM search as well. It's just a little bit less about keyword structure and more about content quality now. So the old keyword structure framework that we used to have to do so delicately, the LLMs care less about that because they're not reading things in the structured data format that a search engine is. So it's more quality based. So the quality of your content, is your content actually unique? Is your content something that a person would find interesting? Because if so, then maybe ChatGPT is also finding it interesting. And the uniqueness, right? The what is it from Drag Race? The charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. You got to bring all of those things in for the LLMs to really be paying attention to you.
I've never seen an episode of Drag Race. Should I start watching it?
Not. It's amazing.
Okay.
This is a good season. It's a really good show. It's kind of like the Great British Bake Off, where you want to watch something where there's not a lot of suspense and, like you've already had a hard day.
Like comfort viewing type of stuff?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Comfort viewing.
So with the SEO, I mean, in the world of SEO, like content marketing was important. It sounds like it's more important for generative AI searches.
It is more, content marketing is more important, but it's more important that it's focused and not scattershot. So just having the volume is not going to get you anywhere. It's about how specific it is, how dedicated it is, how unique your content is, and if it's actually written. Also, if it's written by a human. So AI knows when AI wrote something, and they're
so
bored.
Do you, when it's texted to you.
And so do I. So do I, Tritico. Look, I just went ahead and called him out. I'm definitely sending this to him.
Oh, shit. Yes. Tritico?
Yeah, he goes by his last name.
Tritico?
Yeah.
This is me talking now? Mm-hmm. Step up your fucking game with your friends. Fuck this shit. So I think that's probably good for people who are listening to this, right? I feel like a lot of people think content marketing has become like this fucking meat grinder where you're just publishing shit all the time. It never ends. And then like when you go on every platform, it's like, hey, would you like us to have the AI write this for you? But you're zagging and you're saying like humans should write stuff and less of it.
Yeah, I just had a breakup with a client. I really liked the account, but her non-negotiable was that we posted 200 AI generated blogs per month to her website. And my position was that was really bad for everything that we were building and doing. And she was like, do it anyways. And I'm like, I've been down this road where clients are like, do it anyways. This is what I want. Because at the end of the day, in 6 months, when everything tanks, she's going to hold me responsible for the results of this thing that she wanted to happen. So I was like, I think we're just going to go our own way. And I hope for the best that works out for you. But I know it's not going to, right? Because at this stage in the game, when you spam your site, both search engines and AI engines, everything sees it as spam. Like we all know what spam is. And so do all of these bots that are making the decisions.
Yeah, they're making decisions in somewhat similar ways to the way humans are doing it. It's all neural networks. And that's I think this is good. This is exciting.
Yeah, the backlink game is really similar too. So if you have trash backlinks, they're just like from spam sites and all this other stuff, that's going to hurt you now. more than ever. So it's good to run a report on those and get that cleaned up if you have them. And then focusing on fewer higher quality backlinks from your neighborhood community newsletter, getting a backlink from that. Sponsor youth sports if they have some kind of online blog or publication or something where you can get backlinks from them. There's so many like pretty easy ways that as lawyers, especially like those who are focused on local, could get really good high quality backlinks that signal to these engines, hey, this is a viable law firm. And especially community resources, that really plugs into the trust component.
I love quality over quantity. Like that should be ever present in more of our lives, I think.
I think
okay.
So.
One thing you didn't mention, directory profiles. That's still a good idea to be chasing those?
Yeah, that's
in the new environment.
That is the lowest hanging fruit. And the biggest mistake with lawyers with directory listings and profiles is that a lot of them have hired, was it called Moz Local, or I don't know. They used to have these things where they would do them for you, right?
Yeah.
And it was early.
Bright Local does that too, don't they? I think.
Bright Local, yeah, that's the one right now. Yeah, they like do them for you, and it's basically an AI thing. But the problem is that all of these profiles have like slightly different fields. And there's also, if you get a variation of something wrong, it's not completely syncing up. So the best thing you can do with directory listings is actually just list them manually, because if not, fields will be missing, which they ding you for, or your address won't be exactly consistent, which they will ding you for, or the formatting of the phone number, all of those things, the consistency of the directory listing matching up perfectly is just like music to search ears, right? Because it's saying it's brand consistency, and brand consistency is what really, really matters across the board. So if you have, if you're a personal injury lawyer, this is a real example, I won't say who, if you're a personal injury lawyer based in a major city and you're trying to have this brand that's all about your personal injury, and then you decide you want to do something cute and fun, so you're going to make pizzas on the side. So you're going to develop a whole separate logo called the Pizza Making Lawyer and create a separate set of YouTube videos because you think that'll get you attention. All you're doing is splitting and confusing your brand. So it sounds like a cute idea. And of course, there's ways to do cute video campaigns and tie them into your brand, but don't under any circumstances make a second logo for anything. If you are a law firm, don't make a second logo. Don't call it something else. If you start a podcast, call it something very close to your law firm's name. Call it the Your Law Firm Names Podcast. You always want to be adding to and connecting back to the brand every time.
Fuck that one up.
You did?
Yeah, look at the logo. I'm looking at the logo in the corner. That has nothing to do with my brand. Oh, well, too late. I like the title.
Well, I feel like people just know you by name, though. Your brand is you.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that as a win.
But I mean, could we make improvements to the branding, Jared? Yes, we could. And we can talk about that another time.
Wow. Taking shots fired at me on my own podcast. I know what I'm not an expert in. Okay, so I had two more pointed questions for you.
I love pointed questions.
I had like 20, but see, you're so good and competent that you covered everything, and I've only got 2 left.
Okay, so let's go.
Let's do the first things first. What about paid advertising in this environment? Is it possible? Is it going to be possible? Like, will I be able to run Google ad type things in generative AI? You're going to have to be, right?
Yeah, you will. And you can't yet, but you will very soon. I would assume by the end of this year, we're going to see ads roll out. I don't know who's going to do it first. I don't know if it's going to be Chat or Gemini. I would assume it's going to be Gemini because Google already has like such a robust ad structure. And I can't imagine it's not already built out, just sitting back there waiting to be deployed. But it will be a thing soon. And there are also dedicated engines. So, for example, there's this AI tool called Vic, and it's a legal tool for people. There's another one too that's pretty much the same thing, and it's for people who have legal problems to go on and use AI to specifically solve legal problems because it's got all the legal shit piped in there. And at the end of it, it can recommend a lawyer to you if you need a lawyer. So they're rolling out a framework where lawyers can become members. They can bid on these leads. So we're going to see a lot more specialized advertising before we see the blanket advertising, but it's coming. It's coming. So be ready for it.
Last question. In the current environment, like right now, before paid ads are a thing here, you were just like, hey, Jared, your marketing's all fucked up. And I felt like I took that in stride. So if someone wanted to work with you whose marketing was also fucked up, what should be the marketing spend for the AEO part of it? Like, do you want to allocate a percentage to working in that space? Like, how would that work? Like, how should attorneys be thinking about this?
So it should be the same way that you're doing your current pay-per-click budget or your LSA budget. Different keywords, different terms, everything's going to cost different amounts in different areas. The first thing you want to obviously do is be an early adopter because it'll be the cheapest it will ever be at the very beginning when they launch it. And the fewest number of competitors will be on it at the very beginning. So I say, however much money you're comfortable burning, obviously pay attention to the actual results, but you're going to do this for 2 to 3 months, and then you're going to look at the ROI, and then you're going to determine where exactly you want to spend your money based on which things worked the best. So your highest keyword volume for your lowest budget, and your highest conversion rate. So my assumption is that similar to Google Ads, they're going to give you some reporting. And in order to give you reporting, they're going to have to give you a lot of their back-end search data, which is going to be really interesting to be able to see what that looks like and how people are searching there versus searching on Google.
Perfect. Okay. Last question. You just wrote a book. It's called The Hunger Games, Mockingjay. No, it's called something else. Can you give us your book? Tell me about your book. Give us your book pitch, and then we'll do the last segment. Oh, shit, there's a copy available.
There's a copy right here. It's called Trust is the Strategy. So it's one part marketing, all about trust-based marketing. So I don't talk about AI in this book, but all of the principles that are in here are intended to help you build a strong presence in LLM search. I just didn't specifically address AI just because it's changing so quickly. I didn't want my book to become irrelevant. But
that's the challenge of writing books.
Yeah, these are trust-based marketing has worked for 15 years now since I started doing this. It's not going to stop. It's the key. You can build on top of that with ads and all of these other things, but that is the core of being successful. And then the second part is that it's kind of a business book. So it's about growing my business, but also working with so many lawyers over the years, helping them to grow their firms, strengthen their intake, strengthen their hiring pipeline, hiring good people and keeping good people. So all of the things that I've learned in 15 years is distilled into this tiny little book.
Wow. You know, back in the day, you could be Thomas Hardy and just write a book and it would just be relevant for years. Now, man, AI changing everything. What's the title of the book again? One more time.
It's called Trust is the Strategy, and it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And also, if you email me, I'll just send you one for free if anyone wants one, because I accidentally ordered way too many copies of this because I was supposed to bring it to a conference. And then I realized you can't bring a suitcase that's more than 100 pounds on Correct. American Airlines. So now I have 200 books that I cannot bring to a conference. So send me an email. I will send you one for free. Yeah. And also this book was not written by AI. So that's another good selling point. I actually wrote this as a human.
Slow clap.
Wait, it gets better. I wrote the whole thing at my standing desk walking on a treadmill. So I literally walked the whole time I was writing.
I'm so jealous. Will you come back for one more segment?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, gosh. Is it about Tom Petty?
No, sadly.
Okay.
We've got our next segment, our last segment, non-Tom Petty edition, next. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Counter Program. It's a podcast within a podcast. This is a conversational space where we can address usually unrelated topics that I want to explore at a greater depth than my guests. Expect no rhyme and very little reason. Megan, welcome back.
I can't wait to see what this is.
Have you ever seen the Wired autocomplete interviews?
No.
You know this? Okay, so this is great. You should check these out. Wired does a series of what they call autocomplete interviews where they interview celebrities and they type in their name and they ask them about the first 5 things that come up in Google in autocomplete.
Oh, no.
It's really fun. So I did a version of that because in this case, you're our celebrity and Google AI mode, whatever the fuck it's called, not Gemini, is going to be our answer engine.
Okay.
So here's what I did. I typed your name into Google. I hopped over to AI mode, and then I started asking it some questions about you.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're calling this the legal late night AEO interview. We'll see if it's good enough to become a thing. I think AI is kind of boring, frankly.
Yeah.
So I tried to spice this up a little bit.
Okay.
So are you ready for the first question?
No, but let's do it.
I asked the AI, if Megan were an animal, which animal would she be? I'll give you 3 choices, one of which is correct.
Okay.
Did AI say that you were a honey badger, a snow leopard, or a mongoose? Honey badger.
I'm going to go honey
snow
badger.
Leopard. Not a honey badger, sadly.
Okay.
AI identified you as a snow leopard. Would you like to know why?
A snow leopard, because of my hair and skin color being the color of snow? Is that why?
Sorry. My God. No, that did not come up.
Okay.
They said you were a strategic nomad, able to traverse diverse terrains and thriving in solitude or remote environments, much like a snow leopard would. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah. That sounds great. That should have been what I used for the bio on the back of my book.
Should have written the fucking book using AI. Just give in. Oddly, AI also said that you were like a snow leopard because you were an observant storyteller. But I'm not really sure that snow leopards are up there in the fucking mountains telling stories. I don't think that's I don't think that's a snow leopard vibe. I don't think they can actually speak. So.
I haven't heard that about a snow leopard either, so that's very interesting.
And AI is also very into your book. They said you're rare and authentic, like a snow leopard. See, that would have been a nice text. Like, what if somebody had texted you back an AI response that was like, you're rare and authentic? Like, that's cool.
Yeah, I also should put that as a quote on the book. ChatGPT calls me rare and authentic. Yeah,
although I don't want to encourage any more of your friends to send you AI-based text messages, so don't do that if you're listening.
Yeah, don't. It's a quick way to end the friendship, really.
I watched a movie last night called The Testament of Ann Lee about the Shaker movement
I want to watch
in
that.
America. It was quite good. Amanda Seyfried was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, it's on my watch list for when my husband's out of town because it's one of those ones that he goes, I'm not going to watch this with you. So
you might like it. Like I liked it. I thought it was good. So I said to the AI, if Megan were to found her own religion, what would the religion be called? And so here are your choices. The Path of Radial Trust, the Dial of Virtue, or the Sisterhood of Social Attribution. The Path of Radial Trust.
It's got to be the Path of Radial Trust.
It is.
Yeah.
Why would you presume that?
Well, because the book is called Trust-Based, is about trust-based marketing. And that's kind of been my the whole brand. It's got to be trust.
Your church would have no physical walls because you are a wandering monk of digital nomadism.
I feel like it read my
blog.
The AI knows about my 1-year trip abroad, it sounds like.
Yeah. It's really going for it here. You'd have to take a vow of integrity to join your religion, is what Google tells me. Would that be true?
I think that is true. A vow of integrity. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. You want to join?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be the first convert.
Okay. It's just a quick blood oath, so I can get that at the end of this.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll just do the blood oath. I'll go grab a knife. The next question I asked is, if Megan became a super evolved human, What would be the most distinct of her newly developed traits? This is stuff I think of on a Sunday night. Would you have a hyper-emphatic chronology? Hyper-emphatic chronology? Would you have an attenuated vibrating colon? Would you have a second thumb on each hand? All of which could be great. So, would you have a hyper-emphatic chronology, an attenuated vibrating colon, or a second thumb?
Extra thumbs. Yeah, extra thumbs, because then I could type faster.
You would have, according to AI, although extra thumbs would be amazing, a hyper-emphatic chronology, which would merge your background in news reporting, storytelling, and relationship-driven marketing into a single evolved sense. I think this is kind of a stretch. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, but it sounds good, right? That's the thing. AI really makes things sound good.
I think a second thumb on each hand would sound better.
Yeah.
Next, I typed in, what is Megan's dream car? Would you like to answer this?
Do you want me to tell you what the actual answer is?
Yeah, I just want to see if it's right.
It's a trick question. I'm the worst driver in the world. I shouldn't own a car. My dream car is public transportation.
That's what the AI said first.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It said you should not own a car.
I don't believe you. What? Yeah. How did it know that?
And then I said, stop fucking with me. Just answer the question I told you to answer. And then it said that your dream car was a Jeep Wrangler. Is that true?
That's actually my husband's dream car.
Interesting. It said you wanted to own a Jeep Wrangler since you were 15.
That's not true at all. No.
I love it. Fuck you, Google. Okay. I think I got two more for you.
Okay. That was scary.
Crazy, isn't it? Okay. Oh, yeah, I do have two more for you. Okay, so what would Megan call her great American novel if she wrote one? Assuming like this is your next step after the business book sells out everywhere.
Right.
Would it be called The Search for Grounding or The Unmasking? Would it be called The Nomadic Anchor or The Truth Between Stops? Or would it be called The Laughing Turtle or Hot Tub Farts?
I'm going to go Hot Tub Farts.
Sadly, no. AI says that if you wrote the great American novel, it would be called The Nomadic Anchor or The Truth Between Stops. You see, this is why I don't like AI, because it's not very creative. Like every question I ask it is a variation on the fact that you've kind of traveled to different places. So I'm not that into it. So then I got real weird for my last question. I said, if Megan ate some really hot chili, what kind of visions would she have, and why would it involve a coyote that sounds like Johnny Cash?
Oh, wow, that's a very specific question.
Are you okay? So AI was not aware of this, which was greatly disappointing. Do you remember the Simpsons episode where Homer ate the chili?
I do not.
Okay, I'm probably aging myself here, but it's a great Simpsons episode in like the first 5 seasons, I think, when the Simpsons was good, where Homer eats like all this chili, and then he has like this vision quest thing, and he meets a coyote that talks to him, and it's Johnny Cash, who's voicing the coyote. And the AI didn't pick up on that. I'm so fucking old. Okay. I went to Netflix house this weekend. Have you ever been there?
No.
There's this new Netflix store, and like they have escape rooms and movies and mini golf and all this shit. And I was like, I don't know what is happening in this store right now. And I've never felt older in my entire life. And I just couldn't navigate it at all.
It seems scary.
I was like, can I buy something? And they're like, no, you can do things. You can experience them. And then I left.
The future's weird.
So it said that your visions would be labeled the Neon Desert Vision Quest Temple of Smoke, Nightmares, The Articulated Python of Arithmetic.
Definitely the desert.
Yes, the Neon Desert Vision quest. Because of your storytelling, grit, and rebellion. That's pretty good. It also says you are a Louisiana outlaw at your roots. Is that correct?
Wow, I guess so. I guess I could be considered an outlaw.
There's a Louisiana.
I am from Louisiana, yeah.
We brought it full circle.
We brought it all the way around. Yeah. That's scary.
I know. My takeaway is AI is weird and shitty.
It's, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. You just got to get with it, right? You don't have to like it, but you just have to get with it.
I think if AI starts to become actually funny, I'm fucking toast at that point. So I had a good run.
I don't know. Sometimes it's funny.
I haven't found it be funny.
Okay.
Funny. Yeah.
You haven't trained your Claude well enough then.
Wow. Shots fired once again. Megan, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Jared.
Come back for the holiday episode. We'll drink.
Okay, I will. I will do that. I will schedule myself through the link again.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to our returning guest, Megan Hargroder, the founder and CEO of Legends Legal Marketing. It's legendary. To learn more about Megan and Legends Legal Marketing, visit legendslegalmarketing.com. Well, that works out nicely. That is legendslegalmarketing.com. Now, because I'll always be a 90s kid who saw Forrest Gump in the theaters, but whose true passion is burning CDs for anyone who would listen, I'm now just doing the modern version of that, which is creating Spotify playlists for every podcast episode that I record, where the songs are tangentially related to an episode topic. For this week's playlist, we've got some deep cuts focused on our travel log segment. That's right. We've got songs on or about Pennsylvania. And it's all sponsored by Pennzoil. I'm sorry. No, not Pennzoil. We're sponsored by the power of the motherfucking sun. Join us next time when I rampage through the city with my werewolf and dinosaur friends. It's bound to be a real treat.